Our planet and everyone upon it is now as close to the Sun as we'll get in 2021. At 13:51 Universal Time on January 2, 2021, the Earth reaches 91,399,453 miles, 147,093,162 million kilometers from the Sun, or 0.980. That's about 3% closer than average, which means our planet receives more intense radiation as heat from the Sun. The Sun will also be slightly larger in our daytime sky. It's a cosmic occasion called perihelion, the point of the Earth's orbit that is nearest to the Sun. The word comes from the Greek words peri, near, and helios, sun. So why is it so cold? Where are the heat waves? That depends on what hemisphere you're in, but the underlying reason might change how you think about our place in space. The temperatures, weather and seasons on our planet are not determined by how close we are to the Sun. They're entirely caused by the tilt of the Earth's axis of rotation. In early January, the northern hemisphere is tidal away from the Sun and the southern hemisphere tidal towards the Sun. Why? Crucially, Earth spins on an axis that's tidal by 23.44. That tilt affects how much sunlight each hemisphere of Earth gets at different times of the year, both in terms of how long the days are as well as how low or high the Sun hangs in the sky. It's this obliquity of our planet that gives us the seasons, with the recent solstice marking the beginning of winter in the northern hemisphere, when the days are at their shortest, the nights are at their longest, and the Sun hangs at its lowest in the daytime sky, and summer in the southern hemisphere, where the complete opposite happens. None of this explain why there is a perihelion day. What does is the realization that all planetary bodies have ever so slightly oval orbits. There's therefore a point in Earth's annual orbit of the Sun that takes it to its farthest point from the Sun. That's called aphelion, and it next happens on July 5 when Earth will be 94,510,889 miles, 152,100,533 kilometers from the Sun. Opposite that point is January 2, perihelion. That all planets orbit stars in an ellipse was discovered in the 17th century by German mathematician Johannes Kepler in his first law of planetary motion. However, perihelion does mean Earth receives more radiation from the Sun, so where does that extra heat go? Huge heat waves in the southern hemisphere? No, and in fact Earth is at its coolest during perihelion. That's because most of the southern hemisphere are oceans, which soaks up the extra heat and negate the impact of perihelion. So don't be confused as to why it's not warm in the northern hemisphere during perihelion. Perihelion is caused by Earth's slightly elliptical orbit of the Sun, while the seasons are caused by Earth's tidal axis, and right now the northern hemisphere is tidal away from the Sun. Wishing you clear skies and wide eyes.